all we're doing now, we've reached the end of the day. We're at the end of the tank. They're about out of wine. So what he's going to do is he's waiting to get to a level to where he can push with gas, push the rest of the wine into the trailer, so they can close that tank off and we can wrap it up on our end. So all I'm doing now is just waiting for his signal. And he's watching the tank. He'll give me a thumbs up to let me know. And typically, once we get to the end, we will drain. If it's for a client, we'll take a handful of bottles or a case of bottles, and we'll empty the remainder of the wine into the bottles. But for today, we're just going to empty it into the drain pan. One indicator too, as you near the end of the day or near the end of the tank, this gauge here, these LEDs that light up to tell you your fluid level in the bowl will start to drop, and it's the person over here controlling this side of the trailer. It's their job to pay attention to that. It'll hover around 5 all day long until you start to get to the end of the tank. And as this drops, it means the fluid level and liquid level in the bowl is dropping, which obviously means that the volume of the tank is dropping. So once you see that, it's you let your second guy know, typically the guy running the labels, and he'll run out like Ethan is and keep an eye on the tank as those LEDs, those indicators drop. He knows to monitor the tank, and that's why I'm waiting for him right now to give me a signal to go ahead and hit the pump, because he's going to connect with gas and push the rest of that in. I'll hit the pump to suck the rest of it in as he's pushing into the bowl, so we can drain the rest of the side. All right, so we're all wrapped up for the day. The last bottle has gone through and filled with wine. We're ready to start cleaning stuff out of the trailer. At this point, as the last bottle's gone, the last bit of wine has been put into a bottle. You may or may not have some glass left over in the McBrady. You want to go ahead and just spin the wheel, spit the rest of that glass out and return it so that they can put it back in their boxes and store it away. And really, it's as simple as just kind of working your way from the back of the trailer to the front. So once the McBrady's, you're certain the McBrady's empty on glass, work your way this way, checking the track, make sure there are any loose bottles that you missed that could potentially enter the filler here and damage something. So you want to clean the track between here and the filler, make sure that's clear glass. Just kind of work your way down, just making sure there are any corks, capsules, glass, any empty glass that's not used. Again, make sure it gets back to the client. Any unused, so you may have a bag of cork, you may have a box of screw caps, whatever you're using that day. Make sure those get wrapped up. You can tape it closed. If it's a box, you can crunch the bag up, take the box closed, whatever the case is. Get that back to the client. If you're using capsules, make sure those get put back in a box and returned to the client. Again, check the track as you go. Make sure you don't have anything laying on the track, glass, capsules, whatever. Labels, any excess labels you didn't use, just simply break the paper that's already been used. Pull it through, spool it back up. Anything you've got left, put it back in the box, return it to the client. Basically, you're just trying to get all of their goods and materials that they paid for back to them to use at a later date or do whatever they need to do with it. But also at the same time, helping yourself clean up the trailer. Once you've got all that set up, return back to the client, everything's cleaned up as far as materials, you can go ahead and start your rinse down and sanitization of the trailer and clean out process. So our water hose is hooked up to the inlet for our cleaning, our dosatron. The other end of our steam line is going to connect to the manifold here. It's going to push water, pick up cleaning solution, and push it into the trailer. See, that will get attached by one of our clamps. Open our main valve here. We have unrestricted flow. The configuration on the rest of the manifold stays the same. because we want to pass this cleaning solution through the filters as well to clean any wine and residue that's left on there. We want to continue pushing all that cleaning solution into the bowl just as the wine was flowing. One thing I'll do is open up the lid to the bowl so I can monitor. And you can actually monitor the flow of the liquid coming through the spout here. And you want to fill the bowl up to overflowing so that everything gets rinsed. And dunk your lid with wine residue and other organisms and whatnot can build up on here if you don't get that clean. So we'll just do a simple 2 or 3, dunk it, and then we'll go ahead, we'll open our spouts into the drain pan. Just manually open those and we just let that drain out. And we will keep our lid open and those 2 spouts open, just give it all a chance to dry. And then at this point, once you want to make sure everything is off, you can actually go ahead and turn the filler off. You can turn the wheel McBrady off. We can come back here, we can turn our labeler off. And really now that really back to the front of the trailer, everything is off except for our power units. We're just waiting for this golden drain. Since we do still have fluid running through there, we can go back over here to this side of the trailer. So after you have filled up your bowl and you're draining your cleaning solution out of the bowl, it's going to want to, because the trailer's level from wine filling, a lot of that, it's going to be kind of a surplus of water coming out of the machine, spilling onto the floor, and you may get some backwash towards the front. So all you want to do is come in here and raise your front end. You want to raise your front end so the back side is sitting lower than the front to wash all of that excess liquid, cleaning solution, everything out of the back of the trailer. And then once that's done, you're ready to pack up and you've packed everything up, you can come back up to the front and drop the trailer back down to level. That way you don't have to worry about, depending on the surface you're on, if you get a bad rain or snow or water turns to ice or whatever, the trailer's slipping and sliding because it's not level. So we'll drop it back down to level, which, as we did earlier, we'll check with an actual level. And you can feel confident enough to drive away for the night and come back the next day. And you can actually pinch off the hose, disconnect it, and we can use this inside the trailer to wash the floors. Oh, I know it's spraying down, tracking mud, dirt, all that other garbage in there. So we'll wash all this stuff down. And once the floors are rinsed, and we're all set with all of the water, we'll go inside. We'll shut our water supply off and disconnect it. We can start pulling hoses, lines, and any other cables, the conveyor tracks for the boxes, and we can start packing all that stuff up and putting it away. We just want to make sure all that stuff's secure. Sometimes we'll bottle for more than one day, so we will leave the trailer overnight. Make sure the water's off. We'll occasionally have bottlings that are 2 or 3 days long, so we will leave the trailer overnight. So we do just want to make sure we get everything pulled in, put in the trailer. Just that way it's secured and out of the way, out of the elements. So at this point we can start pulling everything up. First things we can do, the biggest, bulkiest piece of this, we can actually get this detached. Easier with 2 people, but you can do it with 1. We'll go ahead and put this right into the trailer. out of the way. Slide that in there. And we can start, remember at the beginning when we unload it, I pull this stuff out of a figure 8 formation. It's easiest to stow these away that way. So I'm trying to fit it in a nice little circle. Ends up just creating a mess when you unroll it. And when bottling, if we're going to be here for more than one day, we're going to be leaving the trailer overnight, we'll leave the power hooked up. During the summer when it's hot, or if we're bottling in the early spring or late fall when it's cold, cooler, just gives us a chance to either leave the heat running or the air conditioning. Just keep any moisture from building up inside the trailer. Keep some airflow. And your figure 8. Next, once we get that in there, we'll get our wine hoses drug in there. And you can grab 1, 3, 4 of them at the same time, make it easy. Next, since we're keeping the trailer here overnight, we're going to leave our power cord hooked up so we have heat in the trailer. Other than that, we're good to close up the doors. Before you close them, we want to make sure the power switches on the printer and the box conveyor are off, which they are. So we are good to go in the back end. So at this point, we are all wrapped up. We've gotten all of the client's materials and everything back to them. The trailer's clean, ready to hook up to the truck again and take off. But before you head out, kind of a similar process as when you hook up. Just want to do a perimeter check, make sure all your doors are closed. Anything inside that may slide around is in a secured spot. The tool chest, everything's locked, all the drawers are shut. Nothing just hanging from the machine that could slide around, fall off, get damaged. And then everything on the outside that needs lock is locked. And you're ready to hook up and take off.